extra thick!
What's poppin', YouTube? Hello, and welcome back to this segment that I do on my channel every now and then, very late, where I watch the current episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, and then I drink and rant about it. So, without further ado, let me get right into Episode 74, Captured Ignis. And before we get started, despite my shirt and lack of sleeves, no, I don't play Generation Fish or Rank 5 Sharks anymore. So, let's get that out in the open. So the episode starts in Soul Tech, where we've got this guy locked into some sort of virtual simulation, right? And he's dueling against some sort of virtual adversary that's not in VRAINS. But the adversary is revealed to be a virtual playmaker that's not in VRAINS. And our test subject wins against the virtual playmaker, still not in VRAINS. And the locks are released, and it reveals himself to be Go Onizuka, not in VRAINS. So after the opening sequence, the episode resumes with Akira Zaizen wandering around some kind of warehouse, right? And he's calling aloud, and he's answered by a mysterious voice, whom from our point of view is revealed to be Playmaker and I. They had apparently set up some kind of meeting, some rendezvous, and I found it to be pretty interesting that Playmaker is disguising his voice with the same sort of voice modulator as Zone had in the Japanese version, well, I guess the only version, of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Fun little Easter egg there. So Zaizen points out the elephant in the room, saying how unusual it is that Playmaker would try and call him and meet and have this sort of meeting, especially out in the real world. But Playmaker goes ahead and justifies this by saying how the Ignises are tracking VRAINS, and they would have found him if they would have set up the rendezvous like that. And he reveals to Zaizen that the Ignises have indeed declared war on humanity, and if this is allowed to pass, the damage done to VRAINS and otherwise could be greater than what the Tower of Hanoi would have caused at the end of Season 1. So Zaizen then meets with his sister and Ghost Girl, who's apparently fine after her encounter with the Blood Shepherd, and they're in a totally just not sketchy environment at all. And Zaizen's basically talking to them about what Playmaker had told them, and they all deduce that what they need to do is find and sway the two neutral Ignises in Earth and Aqua, putting them on their side, because at this point you've got two good Ignises in Eye and Flame, and then the two who are causing trouble in Lightning and Windy. Meanwhile, Playmaker's squad is also trying to come up with a plan to locate Earth and Aqua, and they come up with something that's able to track Earth based on all of these locations that he has frequented. And I point out that there's a lot of them, to which Flame retorts, well, yeah, he's probably out there looking for Aqua, because if we recall, Earth had a bit of a thing for Aqua. Speaking of that guy, Earth is in VRAINS, and he's continuing his search when he scans his surrounding area and finds this hidden location. So of course he goes and enters it, and lo and behold finds an imprisoned Aqua. The two then share a little bit of a funny exchange when Earth calls out to her and calls her Aqua, who at this point has not become familiar with the human naming system. It's a funny little exchange. And then Earth, quite impressively, manages to rip Aqua's cage open, despite the cage bars shocking him the entire time. This is why you go thick. So Aqua starts reminiscing and says that she figured at this point that the cyber world would be destroyed, and that the person who would have done it would have been the same person who imprisoned her in the first place, and that was none other than our good, beloved friend Lightning. You see, in this flashback, it shows her coming across Lightning as he is creating the Judgment Arrows card, and she questions him about it, and he responds saying that it's a test. It's going to be something that is a defense against the humans. And when she shows discomfort in this idea, he imprisons her. They then detect that they are being chased, and the viewers detect just how thick Aqua is. Yep, I see you, Earth. The pursuer reveals himself to be none other than Go Onizuka. And to protect Aqua, Earth pushes her off the hoverboard and challenges Onizuka himself, with Playmaker and I arriving shortly as spectators. And I immediately comments on how Onizuka has lost all of his thickness. I'm not even kidding. Now that I'm a little bit better in frame, the duel begins with Onizuka taking the first move and just setting a monster face down in defense mode. A strategy that doesn't really behoove either Goki or Dino Wrestler, so maybe he's using another new archetype? Maybe? Earth begins much more solidly by summoning both the G-Golem Crystal Heart, Aqua's monster, and his own G-Golem Invalid Domin, and equipping the two. And no, it turns out Onizuka is still using Dino Wrestlers, and is able to minimize the damage from Earth's incoming attack. Huh, we're the first full turn into this duel, and it hasn't made me finish this glass yet. Off to a good start. Anywho, Onizuka then, on his turn, is able to bring out a super powered up King T-Rexel and attacks into the Invalid Dolmen, which is destroyed. But we get a bit of a back and forth here, because yes, it's destroyed and Earth takes damage, but he was able to use the Invalid Dolmen as a shield to protect the Crystal Heart, because he's not going to let anybody hurt Aqua's monster. And then when the Invalid Dolmen is destroyed, the effects of Onizuka's monsters are negated. Then he's able, with a trap card, to summon out this really powerful defensive token, and then Onizuka's monster then has its attack crippled by the amount of that defense. So Earth made quite the comeback. Onizuka then activates his skill called Brain Hack, but it doesn't really seem to do anything, and he just starts extending his plays by using his monster's effects and his archetypal fusion spell, because of course he has one. So he uses the archetypal fusion spell and summons this actually quite fearsome Dino Wrestler Chimera T-Rexel, and states that this power is the power that will put him beyond humanity's domain. And then the episode ends. So that was the episode, and it's really kind of hard to give a proper review to the first half of these dual episodes, these two-parters, right? I mean, it was nice to see both of the decks get a little more fleshed out, and don't get me wrong, I loved getting to see Earth and Aqua together, or just, getting to see Aqua in general, seeing where and why she's been up to in the past season, and then getting to, I guess, see a little bit more of Lightning's treachery. That was a good bit of a plus. But, I'm I'm okay with this arc right now, because what I really like about having duels between a couple of supporting characters is that really anything can happen. See, Earth could win, and it could knock some sense back into Onizuka, and he could be an ally again, and then they could just be building their force and have a couple of really powerful assets. On the other hand, Onizuka could win and then capture or even kill Earth, which would throw a huge wrench into everything, especially now that Aqua is once again MIA. But I don't know which one I'd honestly prefer. On one hand, I want to say I want Earth to win, because I feel like this season has done enough stalling already, and I kind of want them to just get to the point. But if Onizuka won, then that would probably be one of the few interesting things that this season has really done at all. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen, what you would like to happen. And as for these reviews, I don't know if there's many more of these 2-episode parter duels. I'm thinking I might do just one big long review spanning the 2, maybe. Haven't decided yet. Lord knows I'm probably gonna have a glass in each and every one of the episodes, and these reviews are gonna turn into drinking games to see which part of the episode will make me finish my drink. Hey, that's something we could all do. If you're of age, if you're 21 years or older, you can play this game with me, okay? This is much more serious than a children's card game, even on flying hoverboards. So what part of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS made you finish your drink? Be sure to let me know in the comments. Hey, if you like this video, if you like this kind of video, if you like listening to me ramble, why don't you go ahead and like the video? You know, it could really help me out a good bit. Subscribe. Lord knows I'm not going anywhere. We'll keep getting these kinds of reviews and other videos. Not always sure when, but we'll get them. So it would only behoove you to subscribe so you know immediately when it happens, right? Doesn't cost you a thing, doesn't take a second out of your day. But outside of liking, outside of subscribing, outside of telling me what you guys want to see, outside of supporting the channel in general, remember the most important thing, everyone. Stay thick. Extra thick!